Fala, Rukasu. Então, eu tô gravando esse vídeo nessa parte aqui do vídeo por causa que eu fui tentar fazer um achievement, um troféuzinho, né? Pra eu pegar, pra eu clicar na porta 5 vezes lá, só que eu acabei embaralhando e não consegui. Mas eu quero fazer outro final agora, que é o final...
Feeling a wave of disbelief,
É...
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
ok.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Como você deve ser aqui? Eu vou ficar aqui. Eu fico aqui.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
É, mas eu vou continuar. Eu vou.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
É, mas eu quero ficar aqui, posso só?
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Sim, estou.
Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please
Porque
offer me
sim.
some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Então, eu quero ficar aqui, só isso. Tem algum problema?
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Tá bom. Então por que é abrível, hein?
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid.
Muito estúpido.
He got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Qual foi? Calma lá, irmão. Continue.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now.
Você está morto.
You're dead. We got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and we're just about to leave because there's nothing here. When a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system, and you collapsed in front of your screen. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Eu não quero, velho. Curti daqui, ó. É espaçoso, dá pra colocar uma cama aqui. Não, ó, eu coloco uma cama desse lado. Aí coloco um PC aqui na frente. Aí eu sento na cama e fico jogando aqui. Aí de vez em quando eu limpo aqui. Coloco um chuveiro aqui. Uma privada embaixo. Tá, entendeu? Aí eu já proc enquanto tomo banho. Mas sério, não vai me dar nada. Nenhuma achievement, algo do tipo. É sério isso? É real? Não pode ser real. Não é real. Poxa, mano. Vamos logo, vai.
Second player, it's good to have you on board. Again, coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ok, qual foi? Tem alguma coisa pra fazer aqui? Ou é só mais um lugar pra ficar impregnado quando ele fica falando coisa? Tipo, alguém morreu no banheiro. Não, esquece. Ah, beleza, eu só tô desistindo do cara. Ai, musiquinha. Chega de musiquinha. Eu vou ter pra cá? Não. Ei. Bota aqui. Peraí. Calma. E se eu subir agora? Fecha. Musiquinha.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud.
E se eu ficar errando a senha?
He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Two, 8, 4, 5. But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, The truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start? Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail.
Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game.
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone